Good evening. This is off our first record. Most people don't own it.
Well, we're plugged in. That's what I'm saying. How's this gonna look? Because our guitars are all plugged in, but then again, it's electronic media. It's not like we're gonna go to every house in the United States or every house with cable or every house with cable that watches MTV or their parents allow them to watch MTV or whatever, but it's a good shtick.
Nirvana Unplugged in New York. As I release this video, we are right on the 30th anniversary of the recording of this show. November 18, 1993 is the date when the 4 Nirvana members, Cobain, Grohl, Novoselic, and Pat Smear, the new guitarist, went to Sony Music Studios in New York and played their show. It was a small, intimate setting, and those who attended know now they were some of the most luckiest fans in the world. So let's go back and take a look at Nirvana Unplugged in New York.
Day of the show, we're always trying to get the right stools. It seems like Unplugged should have its own stool by now, you know. Brought a few different things out for Kurt to try, and of course he picked an office chair.
It was while touring with the Meat Puppets, who had opened 7 shows for Nirvana in October of 1993, that Kurt finally decided to go ahead with the show. He even invited Kurt and Chris Kirkwood from the Meat Puppets to play 3 songs with Nirvana on the Unplugged set. The idea of playing a stripped-down show had made Kurt nervous. Kurt was really nervous, remembered Novoselic. Others were more direct. He was terrified, observed production manager Jeff Mason. Kurt was consistently late for rehearsal, and the day before taping he announced he wasn't playing. However, MTV was used to this ploy. He did it just to get us worked up, said MTV employee Amy Finnerty. On the afternoon of the show, Kurt did arrive, despite threats of not showing up. Jeff Mason stated, "There was no joking, no smiles, no fun coming from him. Therefore, everyone was more than a little concerned about the performance." Kurt Kirkwood was worried because they hadn't rehearsed an entire set. "We played the songs through a few times, but never a rehearsal set. There was never any concerted practice." Kurt was complaining about how poorly he felt and how he wanted some KFC, which was immediately located for him. Kurt had suggested stargazer lilies, black candles, and a crystal chandelier. When Unplugged producer Alex Coletti asked, "You mean like a funeral?" Kurt said that was exactly what he meant. He had selected a set of 14 songs that included 6 covers. All of the cover songs mentioned or referenced death. It wasn't exactly unplugged, since Nirvana used amps and drums, albeit with pads and brushes. A more accurate title was suggested by Jeff Mason. They should have called it Nirvana Toned Down.
Did you have to alter your style much for this show? I mean, it's for television, and did Dave have to like hold back on his drumming?
Oh yeah, totally. We were like telling him, "Oh, we're gonna wrap you in a glass capsule," and but then when he found these weird sticks he can use, and we got him a small drum set, he's doing really good.
The band played 14 songs in total that night, and were somewhat criticized that 6 of those songs were cover songs, and that the band didn't play more of their big hits.
Any requests? How is this play In Bloom acoustically?
And then there were some other requests from the fans.
Is that Kennedy?
I don't think MTV would let us play that.
The show started off with track number 3 from Nirvana's debut album Bleach, and that was About a Girl, with Cobain stating, "This is off our first record, most people don't own it." The band then launched into Come As You Are from Nevermind. Along with this song and All Apologies at the end of the set, these were the only 2 big hit songs from Nirvana's catalog that the band played that night.
It's not our song. Oh, we've been playing covers all night.
The band were told to play more of their big hits that night, but in true Cobain defiance, he decided to not please them and to go his own way. true punk rock. There was no point trying to tell Kurt what to do that night. He was doing his own thing no matter what.
Hurry up. Is that what you said?
We shot the show and it was beautiful. And after the rehearsal, one of the MTV executives came up to me and said, I'm not sure if they're playing enough hits. Could you talk to Kurt about doing Smells Like Teen Spirit? And I said, no, that's great music. And if you want him to play Smells Like Teen Spirit, you need to go ask him, because I'm not going to. The night of the show was just really magical. It was so amazing, and it was everything they did was so great. I mean, having the Meat Puppets on and doing that Bowie cover's unbelievable, and that Leadbelly, In the Pines, just gave me chills every time I saw him perform that song.
Another memorable performance from the night was the song Pennyroyal Tea from Nirvana's third studio album, In Utero.
Am I gonna do this by myself?
What is it?
Kurt played the song by himself, and it sounded amazing. And so did songs like Polly, On a Plane, and Something in the Way. Some of Nirvana's cornerstone songs unleashed in their unplugged glory.
I got a free bird for you right here.
The lads from the Meat Puppets, Kurt and Chris Kirkwood, would join Nirvana on stage next to play a trio of songs, Plateau, Oh Me, and Lake of Fire. And it was awesome to see Kurt just sing, without the accompaniment of his guitar. It was a different way of looking at Cobain, and his vocals sounded awesome, by the way. As mentioned before, we have All Apologies. Having this song stripped down to its unplugged form was just an unreal performance of the song.
F you all, this is the last song of the evening.
What is it?
And what more can be said about the show closer here that hasn't been said already? Where Did You Sleep Last Night, the Leadbelly cover? Cobain strapped his guitar back on and just delivered this song, a raw, wrenching version of this tune. Cobain was just so powerful and demanded you to listen to what he was saying. You just couldn't have finished that set that night any better way.
This song, Where Did You Sleep Last Night, did you do? Where did you first come upon this?
I'm off of one of my Leadbelly records. Actually, Burroughs, I was reading an interview with him in a magazine one time, and he said something like, these rock and roll kids of nowadays should throw away their electric guitars and listen to some real soul music, and they should listen to Leadbelly. And that was quite a few years ago, so that's how I was introduced to it.
Except for that version you did on MTV Unplugged was great. It's just phenomenal. It's really cool.
We don't play it very often because it's pretty emotional,
Yeah.
and so we usually just save it for special moments.
The Nirvana Unplugged show was first broadcast on MTV in December of 1993. The broadcast was only 45 minutes long and did not contain the songs Something in the Way and Oh Me. After Cobain was found dead in April of 1994, MTV aired the episode repeatedly. To meet demand for new Nirvana material, in August of 1994, DGC announced a double album, Verse, Chorus, Verse, with one side containing various live performances from the band and another side including the entire MTV Unplugged performance. However, the task of compiling this double album was too emotionally difficult for their surviving band members, so the project was cancelled a week after the announcement. Instead, Novoselic and Grohl opted to release just the Unplugged performance. Scott Litt, who had produced the performance and had worked with Nirvana before on their record In Utero, returned to produce the record. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 310,000 copies in its first week. This was the highest first week sales of Nirvana's career. The Unplugged album was certified 5 times platinum in 1997, and it won the Grammy Award for Best Alternative Music Album at the 38th Grammy Awards. The green cardigan Kurt was wearing that night went up for auction in October of 2019. It was the 25th anniversary of the release of Unplugged, and the cardigan sold for an astonishing $334,000 at auction. It was stated at the auction, "It's very important that we don't wash it, and the stains are still there. There's even cigarette burns that you can see on the sweater." So that is one heck of a lot of money to get for that green cardigan that Kurt was wearing at the Unplugged show, but it would be a really cool piece of memorabilia to own. For any Nirvana fan to say, damn, I now have that green cardigan that Kurt was wearing at the show, watching him on TV wearing it and then saying, hey, I have that now, something that he wore. That'd be pretty cool. And to see how much it sold for, $334,000, damn, just shows how much it meant to one lucky fan. That would be a prized possession to own, no doubt.
I have $5 million in the gallery. I'm asking $5.5 million. That's $500,000. $5,500,000 going once. $5,500,000 going twice. So, $5 million.
Cobain used the 1959 Martin D18E electric acoustic guitar in Nirvana's Unplugged performance just around 5 months before his death on April the 5th of 1994. And just who is this person who now owns this awesome piece of rock and roll history? Well, his name is Peter Friedman. He is an Australian. He is the founder of the company Rode Microphones, and he attended the auction in Beverly Hills. He plans to exhibit the instrument as part of a worldwide tour with all proceeds benefiting the performing arts. The new owner of Cobain's guitar went on to say, "When I heard that this iconic guitar was up for auction, I immediately knew it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to secure it and use it as a vehicle to spotlight the struggles that those in the performing arts are facing and have always faced." Friedman went on to add, "Nirvana's Unplugged is one of my favorite records of all time and easily one of the best live performances ever captured on film. They were a huge influence on me. So that's good that someone who was actually a fan of Nirvana brought the instrument and he's going to use it to do good, unlike this douche." Yeah, we all remember him. Frances Bean Cobain, Kurt Cobain's daughter, actually lost this guitar to this idiot in her divorce settlement. The guy claimed it was like a wedding gift or something and he just kept it. Of course, it's a precious family heirloom. He should never have kept that for himself. Hopefully he made no money out of this. I don't know what the whole deal with all that is, but the guy should have returned that guitar to Frances and to the family, but he never did. But anyway, it seems it's in the hands of a decent Nirvana fan now. The guitar was the 7th of only 302 D18Es built by Martin and was customized by Cobain. The guitar also came with its original hardshell case, which contained some extra things of Cobain's like guitar strings, there was a black velvet pouch in there, and even 3 baggage claim ticket stubs, stuff like that. And adding to all that, not only is this the most expensive guitar ever sold at auction, it is also the most expensive Nirvana item ever sold at auction. I mean, you could sit back and watch that Unplugged show and be like, hey, I have that guitar, I own that guitar. That'd be kind of weird, but cool at the same time. So there you go, guys, yet another piece of Kurt Cobain memorabilia sold at auction. At least it's gone to someone who is actually a Nirvana fan and he loved the Unplugged show and he can respect what it's all about, so that's at least one good thing. So looking at the show as a whole, it was a really good performance, a really solid performance by Nirvana. They were totally out of their element. They usually play loud and heavy rock. However, they were totally stripped down for this concert. But what you got to see here with Nirvana being stripped down just to their acoustic guitars was Kurt's voice really shone through. His singing was just unreal on this night, really powerful. The most obvious example is on the final song they did for the night, Where Did You Sleep Last Night? I mean, that thing's just, whoa, it just blows your mind. That is truly epic. But he was very good too on the 3 Meat Puppet songs, Plateau, Oh Me, and Lake of Fire. Unreal singing in those tracks as well. Had such a really cool rock voice. Really good quality. Now, they hardly played any hit songs at all, which MTV were quite mad about. They really wanted to hear those Nirvana hits, but Kurt just didn't want to play them. You had Come As You Are very early on in the set, like the second song, and that was like pretty much the main big hit, the only big hit they really played. Of course, there were some other Nirvana classics on there, such as All Apologies, Penny Royalty, Polly, and more. But Kurt and Nirvana just didn't want to play the hits that night. In fact, of the 14 songs played, there was like 8 originals and 6 cover songs, so it was real close to a 50-50 split there, real cover heavy. So an interesting choice Nirvana made there. But they were never one for trying to please company executives and stuff like that. They always pretty much just did their own thing. And I think people liked them and respected them for that.
All to show off our softer side, like scented toilet paper, 3-ply, and make sure that...
But non-dyed.
Non-dyed.
So, thanks for checking out the video, guys. That's 30 years of Nirvana Unplugged. Played that show back in November of 1993. Didn't get its official release until 1 year later. It was released on CD and cassette in November of 1994, so took them a year to get it out. So they may have a 30th anniversary in November of 2024 for the official release of the album, but in terms of when they played it, it was 30 years ago on November the 18th, 2023. Hard to believe that not even 5 months after this show, Kurt Cobain died. And they went on to sell the album several months after his passing. Of course, the sales went through the roof. It is widely known as one of the greatest Unplugged performances ever. This and Alice in Chains, the finest 2 rock performances anyway, in my opinion. In a lot of people's opinions, I think you would find that to be the case. One very awesome musical performance. That's Nirvana Unplugged in New York.